Welcome to ClockInMaster. In this guide, web dashboard. Every part of the dashboard, what it is for, and when you would open it. This is the web dashboard, and it is where the business end of ClockInMaster lives. The clock is the tablet on the wall, and the staff app is on everybody's phone. But this is where the rota gets built, where requests get answered, and where hours turn into wages. The menu down the left is in 3 parts, and the split is worth understanding before anything else. The top is the day-to-day running of the shop, the middle is reporting on what has already happened, and the bottom is the rules that decide how the first 2 behave. Staff management is the list of everybody who works for you, and it is the first thing to get right because everything else hangs off it. Each person carries their contact details, the department and role they belong to, their pay rate, and the PIN they use on the tablet. Adding somebody here is what lets them clock in at all, and it is also what lets them log into the staff app. The app checks the phone number against this list and refuses anybody who is not on it. There is no self-sign-up, which is deliberate. Departments and roles is the structure underneath the staff list: kitchen, front of house, delivery, and the roles inside each one. It looks like admin for its own sake until you start reporting, and then it is the thing that lets you ask what the kitchen cost last month rather than just what everybody cost. It also drives the rota. A shift belongs to a role, so the roster can tell you that you have 3 people on, and none of them is a chef. A weekly roster is where most owners spend most of their time. Staff down the side, days across the top, and you place shifts in the grid. As you do, the totals at the bottom move, hours and wage cost, live as you build. That is the part that changes how people schedule. You are not finding out on Monday what the week cost. You are watching it add up while you decide, and you can take somebody off Thursday and see immediately what that saved. Daily view is the same information for a single day, laid out as a timeline rather than a grid. This is the one to open when you are asking whether you are covered between 12 and 2, rather than whether the week adds up. Shift management sits alongside it and is where the reusable shifts are defined: the morning, the evening, the Saturday double, so that building a rota is picking from a list rather than typing times over and over. Budget is where you say what a week is allowed to cost, and the roster then tells you when you are over it. It is the difference between finding out you overspent and being stopped from overspending. Set it by week or by day depending on how your trade works. A shop with a huge Saturday and a dead Tuesday wants day level, and a steady week does not. Time off is the queue of holiday and sick requests coming out of the staff app. Approve or decline, and the person finds out on their phone without you having to tell them. Block days is the other half of it, the dates nobody can book. Your Christmas, your stock take, set once so the app stops requests before they reach you rather than you saying no 15 times. Day view and calendar are for the question you actually ask in practice: who is off that week, and can I afford to lose one more? Time change requests is where a wrong clock time gets put right. Somebody forgot to clock out or clocked in late for a shift they were actually on time for. They raise it from the app, you see who asked, the time that was recorded next to the time they are asking for, and the reason in their own words. Approving it is not a tick in a list. It rewrites the timesheet and recalculates that day's wage. That is why it comes to you rather than being something they can do themselves. And there is a full video on the whole loop. Tasks covers the jobs that have to happen but are not hours on a rota. Opening checks, fridge temperatures, closing down. You build a list, assign it, and staff tick it off in the app as they go. Completion activity is the part worth having. It tells you not just that the checks were done, but when, which is the difference between a record and a box somebody ticked all at once on the way out. Daily reports is the workhorse. One day, everybody who was in when they clocked in and out, their breaks, their hours, and what it cost. This is the report you open when something needs settling. and it is the same data the staff member can see on their own phone, which takes most of the heat out of the conversation. Alongside it, the daily clock-in tracker answers a different question. Not what happened yesterday, but who is in the building right now. Aggregated reports is the same information over a stretch of time rather than a single day, per person with totals, which is what you want in front of you when you are doing payroll. Store comparison puts two shops side by side over the same dates, and time period comparison does the same trick with one shop across two stretches of time, which is how you find out whether this month was genuinely worse or just felt it. The analytics dashboard is the one to look at when you are not chasing a specific number. Trends, busy periods, how the wage bill is moving, where the hours are going. Nobody needs this to run a shift. It is for the half hour a month when you are deciding whether the way you staff Tuesdays still makes sense. And it will usually tell you something the daily reports never would, because a pattern only shows up once to stop looking day by day. Settings is where people get nervous, and they should not. Labor cost is your targets. Time clock settings decide how the tablet behaves. Rounding, whether a forgotten clock out closes itself, whether staff can clock in from their phones at all. Finance covers the money rules, wages, overtime, and rounding. Report preferences and export formats decide what your reports and payroll files look like, and the export format builder means you can match whatever your payroll provider wants instead of retyping it. Shift tags and staff app settings are smaller, but they are the ones that make the rota and the app fit your shop rather than a generic one. If you run several shops, the store named at the top is the one you are administering. The settings you change belong to it and nothing else. The rota is the exception, and it is the one worth knowing about. The franchise roster loads more than one shop into a single grid, so somebody who works Monday at one site and Thursday at another is one row rather than two rotas you have to keep in your head. The color down the left of a shift tells you which shop it belongs to, and where a person works across sites, their row says so instead of naming one. The wage total is the honest one. Each shift is costed at the rate that shop pays that person, not at a single blended rate. And this is separate again from a report scope, which is its own control in its own place. Switching your active store does not widen a report, and widening a report does not move you to another shop. So that is the whole thing. The tablet by the door is the clock. It records what is happening now, and it is the only one of the three that does. The staff app is for everything that is not now. Your people checking their hours, seeing their rota, asking for time off, asking for a wrong clock time to be corrected. And this dashboard is where you build what they see and answer what they send, and where all of it comes out as hours and wages at the end of the month. Nothing is typed twice, and nothing changes quietly in between. If you only take one thing from this, the numbers here are the ones your staff can already see, and that is a feature rather than a risk. That is it. Download the app now from the Play Store or App Store and take control of your business.